government of Kenya is privileged to host the UNEP headquarters in Nairobi. The hosting of that headquarters was hard fought for because it was and still remains the first headquarters of a UN agency in the Global South. So for us, UNEP is a gem. It is a vehicle through which those of us who live in the South are able to articulate our concerns regarding environmental sustainability.
So we'll be celebrating along with the rest of the global community the milestone achieved through, by, and with the support of UNEP and other partners. But beyond celebrating the 50 years, we shall also be looking ahead, discussing and making decisions on how in the next 10, 20, 50 years, UNEP as the global authority on the environment shall be strengthened.
UNEP is about a global movement on environment. It's about protecting the environment and the global biodiversity that goes with it. And I wanted to begin with a quote actually that's almost 50 years old. When UNEP was first established here in Nairobi, and the then President of Kenya, His Excellency Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, made a certain statement. He said, "Deliberations at UNEP are vital to the endurance of our planet and welfare of humanity, as many grave questions arise from population growth and expanding human settlements. However, no single issue can exist in isolation. All have some coordinated influence upon the fundamental laws, balances, and cycles which alone can sustain biological life."
As head of UNEP, the United Nations Environment Programme, I have the pleasure of working and speaking to people across the world, and I'm seeing children engaged, I'm seeing schools engaged, I'm seeing local communities engaged, I'm seeing science engaged, and of course governments engaged, and business.
This year, we celebrate a historic milestone for the global environmental community and multilateralism. It marked 50 years since in 1972, the United Nations Conference of the Environment on Stockholm for the first time placed environmental issues at the forefront of international concerns and made the environmental a major issue, starting to host a new multilateral and regional environmental agreements to collectively protect the environment.
The current trilateral planetary challenges are mainly three: climate change, waste management and pollution control, as well as biodiversity loss. These three important areas will form the core mandate of, or the core focus for UNEP as we look at the next 50 years.
I think we have all realized that without drastic and unprecedented action, our children and all future generations will suffer the consequences of our lack of determination. I therefore invite us all to use this unique opportunity at the juncture of 50 years of UNEP to take bold and forceful action.
On this special occasion, we want to highlight UNEP as the leading global environmental authority that sets the global environmental agenda, promotes coherent implementation of the environmental dimension of sustainable development within the United Nations system.
On behalf of the Asian Pacific group, I would like to welcome all distinguished delegates to the resumed session of the 5th United Nations Environment Assembly, UNEP 5.2, and the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the creation of the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP at 50, here in Nairobi. we stand here today together committed to strengthen action for nature to achieve the sustainable development goals.
As Africa region, we're very happy to celebrate and participate in this forum. And we also like to thank His Excellency the President of the Republic, President Kenyatta, and the people of Kenya for hosting this program. Africa is delighted because program UNEP is the only program in the Global South, and that shows our commitment for Africa, and we would like to have all the African regions and the countries to have participation and active participation and support the presence of this global program.
I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate the United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP, for the great work that it continues to do and for celebrating 50 years, 2 generations of incredible work for the planet, for people, prosperity, and the rise of a new world that we shall all aspire to live in the future.